just in case. Let me make sure they can hear.
Let's do it. I'm Black Hannibal, running through your capital on elephants. Civilize a savage with my elegance. Militant intelligence, run through your defense. Strike like a ninja, slice, cut, and injure. Leave no prisoners, just bodies on the battlefield. I'm Spartacus with a sword and shield. Something like a marksman with cold blue steel. Wore paint on my face, keep my identity concealed. Advance on your camp like dozens of killer ants. Snatch your king like chess, checkmate is his death. While my team have fun with your queen. Throw your bishops off the roof, your knights flee the scene. I plant bombs in the home of your pawns. The detonation shook the foundation of your rooks. Holding shotguns with double barrels. They impact so hard when it blasts through your body travels. Yeah. Street Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Burn your flag as I overthrow your government. New politics, no Democrats and Republicans. Spiritual systems built by wise men who's true in living. The foundation's no longer Christian. Teaching universally the wisdom of the nations. New currency, no more dollar bills with white faces. No more Caucasian domination. All races participate in cultivating education. The people hungry and they ain't waiting. No more debating. Let's overthrow the haven to Satan. This old world needs some new changes. Rulers with new faces. It's time to take out the racists. Spartacus from the new ages. From the page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Spartacus from the new ages. From this page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers.
All right. Peace, power, and prosperity. Shout out to everybody who is here in the building. If you are here, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Rob Blackstorm here. I do have a special guest I want to introduce. As advertised, the lovely, the magnificent, the beautiful Monique Ruffin, the Moon Mama. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. I love this.
It is a pleasure, an honor to have you. We had you here with Mel, the Divine Feminine Works last time. Great response. People love you. People loved you guys together. So I want to get you here for your own individual spotlight. And I want to talk about this special full moon. I'm not a master astrologer. You know, I dabble. I'm more of I call myself an electromagnetic alchemist, you know, who dabbles in magic, the esoteric and the occult, right? Yeah. So I'm pretty much a jack of all trades, but master of one, which is me, right? So I'm just trying to share my insights and my gifts, but I like bringing masters like yourself on that deal with astrology, you know, to give us some clear insight. So I guess we should just start with, you know, the sun's in Libra.
Yeah.
Full moon in Aries. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about, you know, we just, you know, the retrograde season. We just got out of Mercury retrograde. Mm-hmm. You know, feels a little lighter out here in these streets. Mm-hmm. Feels lighter, not as heavy, but I know we still have some Mercury Mercury going direct, but just still some retrograde energy. I know Mars about to go retrograde soon, right? Aries is a Mars energy right now. So is this preparing us for the Mars retrograde coming up? How should we look at that?
Yes, I would say that's an aspect of it. You know, the first thing I want to say is that I look at astrology or use astrology as a tool to heal. I believe that there's really nothing that we need to do on the planet right now except heal. We are all coming out of trauma.
I agree.
We have all, especially Black people who have been in America for the last, whatever the stories are, right? But so astrology is something that I use to help myself and my clients be aligned to get out of the old mindset and white supremacist way of thinking and seeing and being in the world to coming into alignment with nature. And astrology is a tool of nature. And that is why I use astrology. So, the Aries full moon. How is the Aries full moon offering healing, right? That's
Mhm.
because I believe that astrology is a tool for healing. So, how can it assist us in healing? So, one of the things that's really significant about this Aries energy is that Aries is it's associated with spring, which is about beginnings. Aries is also the warrior, which means that Aries brings in a lot of power. If you
Mm.
think about Aries, that we have the new moon in Aries and went in spring, right? So spring is the season that comes in after the this hemisphere of the earth has died, right? So it takes a lot of power to bring something back to life, to bring it out of death and into life. So that is the power of Aries. So where are we now resurrecting ourselves? Where are we now letting go of dead ideas, dead ways of being, practices, belief systems, relationships, so that we can be renewed, so that we can bring spring back into through our actions, through our mindsets, through our ways of being. This full moon happened at the 16th degree, which is the degree that governs unity. So unity is about unifying the aspects of ourselves that we have abandoned, rejected, denied, fucked off, cut off. Sorry for the language.
No, go ahead. I curse all the time. Don't worry.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it's asking us to unify those parts of ourselves. And the thing that is really very valuable about the Aries energy is that it is in opposition to the Libra energy, which is about the other. And Libra is when it's the other, it really the thing that we don't understand because we're not taught it from a young age is it's just the mirror. The other is your mirror reflection.
Yeah, that's a
But,
fact.
right. But we think the other is somebody else. But
Yes.
the other is only there because you have an energetic affinity with them. So your boss that's you hate at work, they are there because you have an energetic affinity with that person who behaves that way. And when you understand that it's just a mirror reflection, then you can heal it within yourself by unifying the part of you, healing, bringing light, love to the part of you that would create an energetic experience of a boss who is an asshole.
Everything in this universe, I was telling somebody yesterday, I was talking to a friend, and I was telling them they were saying something that was a little off how you say, off putting to their magnetic field, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying you shouldn't everything in the universe is here geared for you. The stars, the planets, the birds, the bees, this soil, the cars, everything that you see around here is really for you. It may seem like it's for someone else, but it's really for you, and your perception and how you perceive it is
Yeah.
what really matters, and what's going to bring those things to you if you understand that everything is here for you, because there's a lesson in every experience. There's no such thing as failures, only lessons.
That's right. And gifts and
Yeah,
gifts.
and
And
gifts.
the universe knows that you are the gift. You are the right. Like, and so many of us are looking for something else. I'm looking for more money. I'm looking for a man. What you looking outside of yourself when you are the gift?
Hmm.
You are the gift. So this Aries energy brings us to a deeper understanding of ourself, our relationship to ourself, because this is the beginning of everything. If you're not solid with yourself, Aries, if you are not in love with yourself, if you are not devoted to yourself, if you are not passionate about your gifts and talents, if you are not committed to yourself, then everything else is weak. Everything that comes after that is weak, right? So that's why we go into relationships looking for something, because we are outside of ourselves.
We're looking for somebody to love us.
That's right.
We're looking for somebody to take care of us. Kind of like looking. It's kind of like in a weird way. It's kind of like parenting, right? Like you're still kind of looking for a parent to kind of
Yeah,
nurture you in some way, but you're looking for that in the opposite sex.
that's
You
right.
know,
That's right. And so the thing is, it's important to know that what you give to yourself, you will project in another. So if you are deeply loving yourself, you can only attract another person that will be deeply loving to you. It can't be otherwise. The universe doesn't lie. The mirror is always telling the truth. So this Aries full moon is really powerful, and it is preparing us, like you were saying, is it preparing us for this Gemini, this Mars and Gemini? So Mars rules Aries.
mm-hmm.
And Mars is currently in Gemini, getting ready to go retrograde on October 30th. And Mars retrograde in Gemini is so fucking dope, you guys. Like, so this is the thing. If you're a fucking magician, if you are an alchemist, this is the time for you to fucking be designing the life that you absolutely know that you're born to live, because Mars is the physical body. It is the vehicle. It is the energy that brings us to this earth plane. Everybody has Mars because you have a body. That's the car you're driving. Your body is the car you're driving. It is your vehicle. And Mars is currently in Gemini, which is about perception, the
Mm-hmm.
story you're telling.
The gem in your eye, right? Your perception is your gem in your eye. The gem in your eye.
That's right. That's right. Where you're focused, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't you love this shit?
And how you communicate to yourself too, right, Gemini? So yeah, it makes sense that you're, like you said, moving your vehicle forward with how you perceive yourself to be and what your vision is of yourself. So
That's
this is where
right.
really the magic is in your vision of yourself, with a gem in your eye, which is what you should be moving towards and what you should be focused on. Like my thing, I talk to people on the channel, and I'm always like, there's like a form. Oh, she froze. You say okay? There's like
No,
a form of spiritual escapism. The Anunnaki, flat Earth, the aliens, the shape shifting reptilians, the
yes,
conspiracy theories, and you only have an energy bar during the day, just like a video game character or a sim character who wakes
yeah,
up. And that energy bar, when you're focused on the reptilians, when you're focused on flat Earth, when you're focused on what's beyond the Antarctic ice wall, when you're
yeah.
focused on are they grays or are they blues or are they,
Or racism.
or racism, even white supremacy, the white man's doing this, the white man's doing that. We
Yes,
had Woman King controversy, we had White Lives Matter controversy, and it's like every other week or every week there's something that will throw you off your square.
that's right.
There's a pro black algorithm, you
Yeah,
know, that will lead you to stress, despair, and pain, and have you out of your Aries instinct to follow, because the Aries is basically baby Christ.
yes, it is.
Aries is baby Christ on the zodiac wheel. So
That's
it's
right.
Christ coming out the manger. So it's really how you again initiate and what you're going to do with that new energy. It's the Fool on the tarot card, right?
Yes, yeah. Oh, I just love this. Is like my most favorite conversation to have with folks. This is heaven to me. This is heaven. I'm in heaven right now. This is
That's how I feel. That's what I feel when I have these. I don't have them often with sisters, but when I do, it's like a treasure. It's like, where did you
yes,
come from?
I
Because
know.
yeah, it's better
Oh,
than take a selfie for me.
yes, yes, right. Oh, I love it so much. So yeah, so how I look at it, it's like
Mhm,
imagine, like, because the imagination is really key in this stuff, Rob, and
mhm,
our imaginations have been hijacked by
mhm,
all sorts of everything, all manner of all things, right? But what we really want to do is begin to train our imagination. Now, when I started working with my imagination, it was almost impossible for me to imagine myself really happy. Like it was hard for me to imagine myself in my fulfillment and doing the things that I love the most because I had so much trauma
Mm-hmm.
blocking my frequency through my pineal gland, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Talk
I
about
had to do plant medicine work
it. Mm-hmm.
to really move and shift those energies out of that programming from my ancestry. And as I started doing that, I started really getting like the imagination is where everything begins.
That's
It
what
is.
Einstein said. Imagination is more important than intelligence. You know.
That's right. That's right. And the imagination, the ancients called the imaginations the amenta. That's what the comedics, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, you get to go into the amenta. It's like the storage of all energy where everything is still raw. And you just go in there and paint a picture in your mind of what it is you want to see. And if you can hold that picture, no matter what the 3D reality is telling you, if you can hold that picture from Aries all the way up until Libra, then it will show up in Libra. But you have to hold the picture, do the rituals. And I like to look at it. It's like my body is the vehicle. I'm really in my mind in here driving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I look at it like this is just a car. This is just a car. It's an avatar. Like this,
Yes,
even my skin, the melanin, as great as all that stuff is, the U melanin, the
yes,
female melanin, all that, as great as that stuff is, it's just a car.
that's
And
right.
if I choose to drive my Ferrari around the projects, that's up to
Yeah,
me. If I choose to put uh, regular gas in my Ferrari, that's up to me, right?
yeah,
But at the end of the day, if I put premium, right, in my Ferrari, and if I drive it on the highway, it's going to work better, right?
that's right.
So it really depends on what direction you're going with your vehicle. Where are you taking it, and what are you going to do with that vehicle? Because
That's right.
Aries is really about action, right? It's really
That's
about
right.
movement. This is when
That's
you're
right.
supposed to really be brave, and if you have a challenge, step into it with full power and full
Yes,
confidence. Even
especially because Jupiter is here right now.
talk about it, yeah.
Jupiter is in Aries, and Jupiter, like when we were on with Mel, she
Mm-hmm.
said, I loved it. She said, Jupiter is the jewel, like
Mm-hmm.
your it's the thing in you that nobody else has. It's the thing that will make you great if you can be loyal to it. And so Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter has been in Aries. It's about to go back into Pisces, which is where it is in where it dominates or it's home in Pisces, and then it's coming back into Aries for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So, literally, 12 years ago, when Jupiter was in Aries, I started my coaching practice. I was selling insurance to teachers, and my script said that I had to tell teachers every day that they were going to get cancer. And because they are definitely going to get cancer, they have to buy this insurance so they can still get their paycheck when they have cancer. Right. I was like, I cannot do this. I
Yeah,
cannot, I
I've been
can
there. I've
I,
been there. I immediately became I worked to become a supervisor because I was like I can't say this, so I was like I've got to shift to some way.
have got to do something
Yeah,
else, right?
I
I
was
had
like
to do
I
something else.
cannot do this. Talk
So
to
I
these
was like,
people.
I cannot, because I'm cursing people.
Basically.
I'm basically so that they'll give me so I can make $2,500 a week. So I was like, I got to figure this out. So I started visioning, doing the rituals to build my coaching business. I started doing everything while Jupiter was in Aries 12 years ago. And now I have an entire school built on astrology, and the universe has just been feeding me, right? So, this is the time that we want to be setting the code for who we truly know ourselves to be. The thing that you can only be. It's no one can tell you what this is,
No
y'all.
one
Y'all
can tell
gotta,
you. You
you
have to
gotta
go within.
meditate.
Like you said, do the rituals, do the breathing exercises. You have to find solitude.
That's
Like
right.
you can't do this if your brain, when you wake up, your brain constantly is taking in other people's information.
That's
You
right.
have to shut it down. Like you have to shut this world down. And I don't
Yeah.
care if you're listening to classical music, you might need jazz just to prepare you. But at
Yeah.
some point, you have to get to the point where you are programming your own brain. Because,
That's right.
people wake up and, it's the news, then it's social media, then it's work, then it's the kids, then it's music. Somebody telling you what you want to hear in the music.
Right.
Then people fall asleep with the TV on, and it's like you never get a break.
And
It's
let
a
me tell you,
never
you
gets a
have to
break.
make it. You have to make it because it's like when I first started this, I had a child at home who was diagnosed with Down syndrome, so I was scared as fuck. I had a husband who was also scared as fuck and we were at odds with one another because I didn't want to go back to work because I was like, well, who we gonna get a baby to? If I'm at work, we got a child. We don't know who he is, what he can do. So we're both terrified. So I'm really distracted, right?
Mhm,
Like, so what I'm trying to say to people is you're going to have to fight for your identity. The
mhm.
universe, it's going to seem like there is no space, no time, ain't no way it can happen. I was in the midst of hell when I started holding the vision for who I am now. It
Me too. Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Mhm.
So there is no excuse. You have to be willing. You got to say, I got 5 minutes at 2:55 in the morning. Get your fucking self up at 2:55 in the morning and use that 5 minutes for a little bit of you. And then go get the knowledge out of it.
That's right. Get your fucking ass up. Yeah. Take time. You do, like, I do readings with people and they'll tell me, when I talk about meditation, this is like a
Mhm.
common thing with like 80% of people. Oh, I don't really have the time. Oh, I don't really have the time. But I see you posting about Netflix. I see you posting about, how you don't like the Woman King. I see you posting about these different TV shows and things like that. Not to say you shouldn't entertain yourself.
Yes,
There's a
right.
time and space for that. There's a time for you just relax. I do it. I know you do. There's a
That's right.
time where you just let your inner child run wild. That's what I
Yeah,
call it. Let your inner child run wild. You need to have that, just to
do.
survive. Yeah. And just to make sure that little boy, that little girl is good, because that's
Yes,
part of your healing. Any psychologist worth a penny is going to tell you, take you straight to childhood,
you got
right?
to plan. You do.
So it's very necessary. It's a blood moon. Is there any significance to it being a blood moon, being that it's dealing with Mars and blood, iron, right? The iron in our blood.
Yeah. Let me just be really honest and say I don't really
Lagoon,
study like
right?
the blood harvest. Like it's some let me sometimes I can get really pure because I feel like so much stuff like America does a whole we just market everything, right? It's all this we just make everything be like right. So here's what I will say about this moon. This moon is the opening to the eclipse season. Let's say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
and that is
That makes
powerful.
sense.
Yes, that is powerful as fuck. This is the opening to the eclipse season, and this eclipse season is coming with the new moon. So it starts opening now, and then we're gonna have a new moon in Taurus that's gonna be an eclipse, and then a full moon in Scorpio.
Woo.
And so Scorpio is also ruled by Mars.
Mm-hmm.
So we can expect tremendous changes in the next 2 months.
Big
Like
transformations.
big trend. Like if you holding on to shit, if you like let go
You
now,
gotta
like
let go now. Yeah. It's like God is ringing the bell. Like when I looked outside yesterday, I posted on my Instagram, you
mhm.
could see Jupiter right next to the moon. It's
Yes,
highly visible. Probably
yes,
one of the most visible stars I have witnessed next to the moon. And sometimes you see the stars or whatever, but that one is just like blinging. And it's because Jupiter's the biggest planet. So I'm like, okay,
yes,
that makes sense why it should be as bright as it is. But it's like, it's right there. It's like, it's telling you, look, this is good luck time. This is
yes,
expansive time. This is time to do your work. I was
yes.
talking about, we were talking about the fasting earlier and
Mhm.
how, the parasites actually when there's a full moon, how they actually increase in your body. So,
Mm,
it's really a good time for you to be eating light or eating green because If you're eating a lot of sweets, things like that, it's really
Yeah.
not a good time for that because that's what the parasites feed on. So
Yeah.
so just these observances are, just necessary for us to grow and glow. I also went to an event yesterday. Lloyd Strayhorn was there. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Mhm.
Lloyd Strayhorn, he does numerology.
Oh,
And it was interesting because when we were there, we were all Scorpios. Like it was all, it was like 90% Scorpios. It's just wild how the universe just puts people together. And
the
I had a
synchronicities,
great
right?
huh?
With
I
the
had a great time.
synchronicities, right?
Met some interesting people, cool people, network. It was great. It was great. But it's just like how things synchronicity works. When you follow your path and you follow your direction, things line up for you. You know.
Right. And you realize that you will be connected to the people that you're meant to be connected to. And the magic, that's the thing. Like, I just want people to understand that this astrology, getting astrology and doing, but if you don't do the work to heal your consciousness and your belief systems and the thing, right, you won't be able to experience the magic. There's so much magic in this. Like when I first started doing the work to heal, I remember, and I share this story. I was sitting at my computer doing some research, and I heard myself say, "You still believe that Eve came from Adam's rib?" I was in my 40s, right? I was like, and I really heard that voice in my head, and I looked around like, who the fuck said that? Like it was like some part of me called myself out. I was like, oh fuck, I do. I really believe that Eve came from Adam's rib. And then the voice was like, and then look at how that impacts your behavior. Look at how that makes you feel like you're less than men. Look at how that makes you submit yourself to men and like put them on a pedestal over you. And I was like, fuck, yeah, that's right, right? So I'm saying all this to say that our belief systems are rooted deeply in our psyches.
Yes.
And they told us a lot of stuff as children that is not true, but it's still running us today. It's still in there. And it's blocking you from being your most magical self. Because once you start doing this stuff, you were talking about synchronicities and the body and all of that, right? So I can now, because I'm in relationship to my body, I can say to my body, I need you to do this, and my body will do it.
You got to train it though.
Right.
Yeah, you got. It's not. It may not happen the first time.
That's right. It probably won't happen,
It
but
probably
it will.
won't. But the
But it
more you,
will. That's
yeah.
right.
And these are two people telling you. This is to the audience. Two people telling y'all the same thing. We can't be lying, right?
That's right. This is what I want to say. Women and your womb and them trying to say abortions are illegal. Just talk to your womb and say, we're going to go have a good time. And we want you to release anything that gets like talk to your womb and say, do not hold on to anything. And take the herbs and the things that make your womb like learn how the womb and the herbs work together. Which herbs? The red raspberry, the black cohosh, so that you are not at the effect of anything that you have not said yes to. You got to really learn how to be magical. You
and
do.
and that goes back to you really wanting to know yourself. Like
Yes.
I remember, when I went to college, I left college because I realized that a lot of them were telling me lies, and I was like, oh, I can't do this, right? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
write a paper about this person I don't care anything about. And then
Yeah.
I'm a manager, and I'm seeing all these graduates working for me, so I was like, the combination was like it didn't make sense. But I remember, going to college, and it was just like just the lies that they pump and the things that they try to tell you, and you think that this is a higher education. You think you're really learning what you need to know, but that's not the knowledge of yourself. You don't really know who you are. You don't know why you're here. Most people define themselves by what they've acquired. So, oh,
Yes.
I'm a a transit operator. I'm the manager of Denny's, right? You
Yes.
ask somebody who they are, that's what they'll say. I'm a manager of Denny's. I have a house. I have 2 cars.
Mhm.
I'm a father. But who are you? Like,
That's
why did you come here? What was your purpose for being born? Your purpose for being born was not to be the manager of Denny's and drive a Tesla X.
that's right.
You can't take any of that with you.
You
You can't take
cannot.
a dime or a penny with you, right?
Right. Right.
So, what's really the purpose? Speaking of that, let's talk a bit about. There's a conjunction of Chiron happening right now.
Yes, the full moon is conjunct Chiron right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, wounded
Yes.
healer.
Yes. It was such a good question. So the wounded healer is this energy of, and first of all, everyone has Chiron in their natal chart. And Chiron, like I said, is the wounded healer. And in astrology, the symbolism is the half man, half horse.
Now, what is Chiron? Is it an asteroid? Is it a
It's
planet
an
that was
asteroid.
destroyed?
It's an
Okay,
asteroid. Yeah.
okay.
And um and Chiron is really the symbolism around Christ. So the story go, the mythology is as said as follows. Chiron was fighting in a battle with his comrades, other warriors, and took on friendly fire. So actually somebody who was in battle with him accidentally wounded him. But
Mm,
because he was half man, half horse, he couldn't die from his wound. So he just suffered, right?
mm,
So he goes to Zeus, who is God, and says to Zeus, I'm suffering for this thing and it can't be healed. And so since I'm going to suffer for it, why don't I just suffer for it? Nobody else should have to suffer for this since I'm always going to be suffering for this. So that's the Christ story, right?
yeah, basically, he died for our sins, right? Suffering.
That's
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
then Zeus was so in awe, he made him a saint. Like
Mm,
so he made him a healer. So now the thing that was wounded, he actually becomes the healer of it with everyone else.
mm.
So
That's
everyone,
the Jesus story. That's the Jesus story.
it's the
And it's
Jesus.
Sunday.
That's right.
Synchronicities. Go ahead.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's great. So then um so everyone has Chiron in their chart. And what you want to know is where is it in your chart that you're taking on the suffering of it's this way that only you suffer that nobody else has a particular. So for me, my Chiron is right at my ascendant. And so my identity is my thing, and how that my story around that was that my father didn't want my mother to have a child.
Mm,
And because my father wanted sons. And these like they're funny after a while. Like when I was a child, that was a big deal, but I don't give a fuck now. I just right because it's the thing that just made me who I am.
mhm,
And and so that set inside of me and my psyche, that set like a war inside of me against the masculine because
mm,
my it, like set me at war with my father, right? And so I had to do the work to heal that relationship with my father. So now I'm no longer at war with my father, no longer at war with the masculine. So now I become a healer of the masculine. And everybody has that journey. Mine looks that way, but you could have do you know where your Chiron is?
no, not offhand. No, I don't. I wish I
Okay.
did.
I know. I
Let me see
almost
if
feel
I can
like
pull it
I
up.
know, I do. It's like what? I know we can
Let me
because
pull it up. I
I
can pull
have.
it up.
You can pull up your chart.
Yeah, I have my chart here. I don't want to reveal my date of birth though.
You just that's
But
okay. Just tell me where your Chiron is. Do you know what it looks like?
yeah. Let me do this. History. All right. Well, here we go.
All right.
All right. So I'm on astroseek.com, y'all, where you can get a birth chart very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to very detailed birth chart. All right, Lilith, Chiron. So my Chiron is in Aries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my Chiron is in Aries,
Okay, great. So
which the full moon is in Aries. Oh snap!
that's right. That's right. Your it could be. And do you know the degree that your Chiron is? Do you see the degree?
Let's see. Let me go down. Matter of fact, let me just share this. Maybe you can see it. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna share. Let me share this screen.
Okay.
I'm getting a free reading. Ow. All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Even though you've read me before, but
Yeah.
let me share this present.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so here we go. Can you
Okay.
see it?
It's coming. Let's see. Um. Okay. Let me make it bigger. All right. So Chiron. Okay, Chiron.
I don't know if we'll be down
Yeah,
here.
here this one. Oh yes, this is pretty much conjunct the full moon. Yes, Chiron at the 11th degree of Aries. Okay, perfect. So here's the thing. This is how this goes. Chiron is kind of age specific. So between 9 and it could be 11 years old, but between 9 and 13, something happened that impacted your identity, your sense of self.
That's a fact.
Right. It's exactly right. And we don't have to go into what it is because it's usually something vulnerable when it's Chiron. It's
Right.
usually something, right? So we don't have to go into what it is, but that becomes the thing that you are to heal. Your story about it, and it will make you into a healer. It opens up your compassion, your healing, your power, your energy, and because it's an Aries, it oh God, I get so excited. Because it's an Aries, it's about being courageous. It's about really being able to have the courage to be true to yourself. And there's something at risk. There's always a relationship at risk. It's like it's almost like you have to abandon your relationship with someone to be true to yourself. It's so good. It's always and it's so much on the line. So that's the Chiron thing, right?
Yeah. And my Jupiter is in Aries, if you can see it. So it's
Oh,
like, and with Jupiter in Aries, so that's why I'm like, yeah, let me fast. Let me like, I've been
yes.
reading the last like today, most of my day, like listening to classical music. I just been studying myself,
Oh,
staying
that
with
is
myself.
so
Yeah,
amazing. Because with Jupiter, so now you're about to have your Jupiter's return this year. It's going to come up because Jupiter's going to be in Aries. And so, literally, this is a time for you to really be shining the gem that's inside of you, the thing that makes you who you are, especially as the South Node moves through Scorpio. So you're being like a lot, like an old layer of energy is being removed from you. And this new essence is coming up to be revealed, but you have to cultivate it. You have to cultivate it and you have to have the courage to cultivate it because it's definitely something that's going to require you to be courageous. And it takes us out of our and oh gosh, I'm so excited. I'm sorry. So I get so excited because the divine feminine is coming back on the planet right now,
yes,
right?
yes,
And the
definitely.
divine feminine is coming for heads, you guys. Like the divine feminine is not to be fucked around. The divine feminine is, first of all, it's not just about women. It's about this very raw energy that is disobedient, that is not here to follow the rules. It's here to break down the current construct. And you see that post I made about the sacred whore, right?
Yes, yes,
And I even Bobby Hemmett talked about
yeah.
women who are
Lilith,
yes,
basically. Yeah.
right. And
Mhm.
and so it takes the feminine. It really is this energy that most women won't even they have a hard time giving themselves permission to understand that it comes. We hold the key to life. Any person on the planet comes through a woman. And she didn't abort us. So we got here because she said yes. Like this joke of a conversation they have around abortion, women can have abort. We can use herbs to,
Yes.
right? It's not. This is not something that is even brain science, right? So every woman holds the power of life and death in her hands.
I know a woman that's highly spiritual, right?
Hmm.
That was able to tell herself that she wanted to have an abortion. She did not want to have a baby,
Yes,
and she did not have the baby. She didn't go to a doctor. She didn't go to anything.
that's right.
She literally just, like she said, she just felt something drop out. And that's the way she described it.
That's right. That is absolutely
And I
right.
witnessed it. This is not like, this is something that was
Yes,
happening to me. And I'm like, wow. Like, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But yeah,
that is
not
right.
crazy.
Because we're afraid to be who we are here to be still. We're getting stronger though.
Hmm.
Because we're coming out of the patriarchy, so we have to learn, we have to grow legs again. We have to find our voices and our courage and our magic and our, we have to discover it. We have to fall down and get up and fall down and get, until we really, and so this next decade is going to be no joke for the divine feminine. And what we really need is the divine masculine who can hold the space, who
Yeah.
understands magic, who understands that the matter has to be birthed through the feminine, and the value of your strength to hold the space is unparalleled. But you got to get off the ego. You got to, you like, you don't get to, if the woman holds, the divine feminine holds the power of life in her, you can't tell her how to do it. You just hold the space.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
how, as a man, do you wield your ego? You know, like
Yes.
my ego, I'm very egotistical about the truth. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I don't want to argue with you. I'm not gonna get, I don't want to get in a yelling match with you over LeBron and
Right.
LeBron and Jordan, right? Like my ego is not invested in being the dominant. You can win that argument.
Yes.
And I, since I was young, there's something that was in me that always was like, the way most men operate was silly to me from a
Yes.
kid. I'm like, why are we yelling and arguing? And why do someone feel like they have to dominate you in order to get their point across or in order to feel better about themselves? When we could
Yes.
all collaborate and maybe build something together like ants, make something, just build something together instead
Yes.
of warring. And it's like our ego, because we placed in these harsh urban environments, we're overcompensating. A lot of men overcompensate in order to make themselves feel valuable when the
Yes.
value is really here. The
That's right.
value is really in you and what your purpose is and what you're here to do. And
Yes.
it's not to make the most money in the world, although that's a great thing. You should want to have your finances straight. But a lot
Yes.
of men think that's just it. I go to work, I make a lot of money. I'm going to watch sports at night and then this and sleep with a lot of women, and that's all. That's all. But that's not it.
That it's boring. That is
It's
so
boring.
boring.
Right, right.
And that is a playbook right out of the white man's diary. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that's very fascinating to me about the world right now is all this information that's coming out. And I was watching this story about Marilyn Monroe. There's several stories. Like, they have done so many documentaries about this woman. But one
Yeah.
of the things that's interesting is that she was having a sexual relationship with John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And how their father taught them, go conquer women. The leaders of the, who they call the founding fathers of this country, they were just fucking everybody, right? They're fucking women who are in bondage, who are called slaves. They're just, because if men can't learn how to manage their creative power and their libido, to use it for something that is higher than white supremacist, dominant, vampiric, it's boring. It's not getting us anywhere. You got 12 kids. You got, now you're caught up in like, we can use that energy to actually do something really powerful if we learn how to harness our magic and really use sex for something that's really real. Like, right.
That's really gonna manifest. Yeah, something.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we
When
can
two
fuck
people
with
are
a person.
aligned like that and they having sex, you can make a lot of things happen. A
That's
lot of
right.
things.
That's right. So
That's
we
what it's really
really
for,
need men,
procreation.
huh?
No, I said that's what it's really for. It's for procreation.
That's right.
In the physical, but also in the metaphysical.
That's right. And we really need men who understand this and listen, who are willing to lay down, lay it down for a real purpose. I mean, that's really the truth. Like, and nobody's saying it.
Nobody's saying it. Grind for the divine. Yeah.
We need you to grind for the divine. Thank
Grind for
you.
the divine.
And if
Yeah,
nobody
true.
says it, then we're just all on some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't even know if I should share this, but do you know if you have, for the fellas, right? If you have sex over binaural beats, you can unlock a woman's trauma. I've done it several times. Some slow strokes, some binaural beats, some string music.
Yes.
I'm giving y'all gems I don't really give out, but yo, you could unlock a woman's trauma for real. You could
But you
heal
have
her,
to be
and
there
she'll
for
give
the
you messages, and she don't even
That's
know why
right.
she's doing it.
You have to be there with the intention to heal and transform and not to like knock it out the park, right? You can't be there with your ego. You have to be there with your intention for magic and healing and transformation. And when you open up that energy inside of a woman, like her energy becomes so creative that anything she thinks of will start to manifest. It just starts to come. So when you lay down with her, this is what I need black people to understand. We are the prize and we are the goose that laid the motherfucking golden egg. And everybody knows it but us. We are the goose that laid the golden egg, and everybody, which is why they built the country upon us. They built industries upon us. They build voting and politics upon us because our energy is highly creative and highly chaotic. And if you can learn to manage the chaos and hold it and don't fight and don't be like, but hold it, be able to hold the tension, if you can grind for the divine.
Grind for the divine.
Can you please make the t-shirt that says grind
I,
for the
I,
divine?
I got it. I got it. I got it. It's here.
If
It's
you
locked.
can grind for the divine, and when the energy gets hot, know that we don't need to fight right now. We need to just hold. You
Yeah.
will become so potent. You can create anything.
But guess what's going to happen, Mo? Like you said, with all these changes that's going to come in the next 2 months, it's going to force people to come together because you're not going to have the option of being single like that anymore. You're not going to have the option of running around with kids. You're not going to have the option of being, oh, I'm not going to be a stepdaddy. People are going to be forced into situations because unemployment's coming. I don't know what news or what things people are
Mm.
paying attention to behind the Antarctic ice wall,
Yeah.
but literally they're putting in the news. They like how it is nowadays, and I don't know if you see this too, Mo, but they're telling you what's going to happen
Mm.
because they're banking that you're not going to pay attention to it
Yeah.
because there's so many other things out there to distract you. So I'm listening to the Fed like, oh, we expect like 50 to 60% of people to be unemployed by the fourth quarter. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like this
Mm-hmm.
is something you guys are baking into the system. Like you guys are planning on people leaving their jobs. Like so you know it's going to be bad. You know there's stuff that's going to happen to the financial system. So there's going to come points, and not only that, let's talk about the threat of whatever might happen with Russia and out there. So there
Mm-hmm.
might be a situation you may not know. Your whole town you might be the only survivor in your town that got hit with a nuke or something like that. You don't know what situation you're going to be in.
So let me just say this. I very much believe that we don't. One of the things about this reality is that it is malleable. And if we are very much plugged into the white man's experience, then we can be assured that we are going to um, get it. Now, that's a consciousness thing. So I
Mm.
just want people to understand it's about consciousness, right? And white people only tell stories of terror. That's it. They don't know anything else. They're not in relationship, but there is a whole nother reality that is being constructed right now. That is this system is dying so that another one can be born.
Mm.
So you want to prepare, but you don't want to be so in the threat and terror of this reality because it's gone. It's over.
It's falling apart. Yeah.
Right. So you want to also do your work to step into your divinity, your codes of divinity, so that your needs are always met, right? Like, because the universe is alive. And when your intuition is high and your frequency is high, the person next to you can be in object war and poverty, and you can be in heaven.
Always know that, and I tell this to people
Mhm.
who watch me, always know that you're going to be okay, no matter what happens.
That's right.
The same way I'm talking about a nuke, I'm going to survive. That's how I feel in my
That's
heart of
right.
heart.
That's
Whatever
right.
happens, is if the whole financial system crashes, I'll be on a farm somewhere,
And you're gonna
surviving
be
and
good. All
thriving.
you
Not just
need is,
surviving,
that's
thriving.
right, exactly. And so you have to know that everything is here to serve you, like you were saying earlier. It's all for you. So whatever happens, like when I grew up in Watson, we didn't have food, and there was gun violence, and there was all sorts of stuff. And I didn't know then what I know now, but my grandmother used to be like, "Be careful." My grandmother was one of them old Christian women, right? Be careful when you go out there, girl. And I used to be like, I'm safe because I knew that everything was in service to my highest best and my highest good. And I have always been safe. Everywhere I go, my needs are always met. I'm always taken care of. That's a fact. It's
That's
never
how
been.
that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fact that you're gonna, because like you said, and like we were saying, the universe is working for you. It's
That's
really
right.
working for your benefit. And if your intention is for the universe, and that's what this time, this full moon energy is really about, you knowing that and you putting that into your mind, because mind moves matter and thoughts create things, words create worlds, and feelings create forms. So
Yes.
what you feel that's going to happen, how you feel about how the next 3, 4 months is going to be very critical, because there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of manipulation, right? A lot of media tricks that's going to be happening. And you really have to be on point to be able to see, to, as they say, pull the wheat from the shaft, right? You have to
Yeah.
be able to see through the illusions and see the reality. And that's where, as you said, the Gemini, the Mars and Gemini energy comes in, where you're able to see and move in a direction that people may think you're crazy. People may think, oh, why are you doing that? People may think, oh, why are you doing this? Like, I remember when I was doing,
Mhm.
these spirit, like eating like poke bowls. Like, it's like a bowl with just like vegetables and stuff like that. And people looking at me like I was crazy
Yeah.
at work. And then COVID hit. you know, and it's like, who's crazy? Who's crazy? But I was directed to change my diet. To
Yeah.
that New Year, I was directed to change my diet. And I tell this story often, but it's a story that is very critical, because I've been in many of those situations where it could have went left. Even when
Yeah.
I was younger, my jail experience when I was younger. When I
Mhm.
went to Rikers Island, I remember, and I didn't know anything about. And this is why I say you are the magic. Whether you have, even if you have nothing, no candle, no cards, no tarot, no nothing, you still have to walk as if you're the magic. And at this point, I was Christian,
Yeah.
and I remember the guard was like, "Yo, we send you." I was in Manhattan, MCU or some shit they called it, MDC. It was a long time ago. But I
Mhm.
remember I was going to Rikers, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna go to Rikers Island? Be careful! Like, they going, you a big dude. They're gonna be coming after you. You're gonna be trying to." And I was like, "I'm good. I got the faith of God. I'm good. I'm gonna be okay." And he was like, "All right, let's see if the faith of God holds you down." I went to Rikers Island. I was in probably one of the best houses in Rikers Island, the most safe. The dude that ran it was cool.
Yeah.
He understood I was Christian. And I was there literally the day I left to go upstate. They had a riot in that house
Wow. Wow.
the day after.
Wow.
And
Yes.
I remember dude telling me, yo, dudes came up, was like, yo, right after you left, blah, blah, blah. They used to call me Messiah. Right after you left Messiah, yeah, what you call it? They had a whole riot. So being in that situation, it taught me, the power of faith, so to speak, or the power of having an understanding that you're going to be okay, that things are going to work out in your favor. And if
Yes.
you really know it and feel it in your heart, because at the time I felt I didn't have distractions, right? I was
Yes.
inside of the cell. I didn't have distractions.
Yes.
So when you have that solitude to sit and think and plan and procreate yourself,
Yes.
because that's what God does. God is like looking at. I read something where I thought it was very profound, and it was like, you know, basically the creator or God, whatever you want to call it, is
Mhm.
looking at himself in the mirror and then letting that mirror reflection be whatever it wants to be.
Mm.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, I
That's
thought that was
amazing.
deep.
That is. That is. And that's so appropriate for the Libra season because, like I said, and Libra is the mirror, the other is the mirror. So, unconditional love is whatever the mirror shows you, you love it. You you let it be what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm,
And if you want to change it, you change it from the inside out.
mm-hmm,
I just cannot say enough. Like, especially if there are women who are listening. When I am in a thing with a man, the first thing I ask myself, if the man is not, like, being if I'm not getting my needs met, the first thing I ask myself is, where am I neglecting myself? That's why he's not doing it, because he's only reflecting to me how I'm neglecting my own masculine energy. And
mm,
I do not call my girlfriends up and be like, he did this or he said this, because it's not him, it's me.
yeah. You have to look at yourself. You have to
And
look at
so
yourself.
the minute if he cheated, it's me. And the minute I go in and go, where are you cheating on yourself? Oh yeah, I have not been getting up in the morning to do such and such and such. I've not been doing I've not been doing my spiritual baths. I've not been right. I've been eating. Where are you cheating on yourself? I've been doing, and the minute I clean that up, it all shifts. The reality comes from the inside out. And until we learn this as Black people, we're going to continue to be subject to bullshit that don't really have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Talk to me, Mo, a little bit about there's a kind of thing amongst the youth where they're taking like a lot of plant medicine, right?
Mhm, yeah.
Mushrooms, microdosing, ayahuasca.
Hmm.
So, but I feel like it's come to a point where it's almost like abuse. Do you see that as abuse being a moon mama? Do you see that as like being abuse, or would you say that the microdosing on it, let's say you're microdosing mushrooms on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
using these supplements, do you think that that is taking away from your own spiritual development, meaning as we're talking about going within and
Sure.
developing yourself and reading and studying and things like that, or do
So
you think that that could supplement, so to speak, you doing that work or fast track that work?
it fast tracks the work. It does, because I want to say, when I first started doing this work, maybe like you, I was 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on a hamster wheel until I was 38 or so. Like, it was, and I was committed. I have been I have studied with Michael Beckwith. I have been in the spiritual schools doing
Yeah.
this work, right? And then I somebody was doing plant medicine. They invited me to a plant medicine ceremony. And at the time when I first tried it, it was like 500 or 700. It was a lot of money. So I had to save up for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did it, I was like, shit, that was just 20 years of healing. Like, I was doing all this stuff. I literally was like, I just in a weekend, I cleaned up all my parental shit.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
So this is what I know. We are in the dark ages right now. We are in the most hellish time for human beings. Look at what's going on in our system. So the energy is highly confusing and distracting. People are not connected to themselves, and plants help. Now, I do believe that anything can be abused. I do. So it's individual. Everybody is different, and I wouldn't generally say that it's abuse, but I do know that we can use support now because of the energetic that we're in, the
Mm-hmm.
breakdown of our society. We have nonsense going on, millions of people in prison. and people making millions of dollars off the reason why people, this is bullshit. Okay.
Prison soundtracks that get people to prison, that get the youth in prison, right?
It's all bullshit
Influence
right
depression in minds. So yeah,
now. That's right. So we are in a really intense time. And I think that people need to do what they need to do to make themselves, and everything is at risk. Everything can be good and bad. Everything
yeah,
is that. That's just how life is anyway. So if people have strong intentions, their intention will win. But if they are just trying to escape, then they're stuck.
yeah, yeah. Because escapism, to me, I feel like escapism isn't the way. You know,
No, it's not.
yeah, you can't escape. At some point you have, because if you don't, what if you don't have the drugs? Then are you, or you don't have the even marijuana? Like, what happens if you don't have the marijuana? Then are you off kilter? Are you not going to be able
That's
to?
right. Can
So
you
it's
do some breath work? Can you do some breath work to get yourself there? Can you do some
moon gaze, sun
mantras?
gaze, and some
Right?
affirmations. Yeah,
That's right.
spirit baths. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think we have to. Yeah, we're a little over the hour mark.
Okay.
I don't know. I think right now, last thing I want to talk about, on the flip side of this, we're talking about all the good stuff, but there's going to be a lot of angry people, right? Who don't know anything about this energy, but being that
Yeah.
it's Aries energies, um, there's been a lot of celebrity breakups, recently.
Oh, I know, right?
We're in Libra season, a lot of celebrity breakups, people 20 years, 12 years, 15 years, and even just here in New York, crime went up 32%. And just me,
When?
this year, crime in New York was up 32%.
Wow, but so
Yeah,
that's amazing.
that's it's Gotham City for real. Like, there's random people attacking people on the train just for nothing,
That's
slashing people for nothing,
that's
no
going
reason,
on here in LA
unprovoked.
too. Like I hear
Really.
people talking about like you can't like eating out in restaurants, how they put all the restaurants outdoors and
Hmm.
they've been robbing people while they're eating. I'm like, wow. That's why it's important to have your consciousness. Get into your avatar. Get into your frequency. Because when you are, oh my God, I just missed the, so spirit told me when all this stuff was starting, consciousness is king now.
Hmm.
It's not money, it's consciousness. I remember when I was in South Africa, probably 20 years ago, and I was like, we were driving through the city, and I was like, why do these people have these big gates with all these wires? Because they were like, the people jump over the gates and rob them and steal from the people who have money. I'm like, so here these white people are in South Africa stealing all the resource and then trying to be like the king and queen, and then motherfuckers just jumping over the gate and robbing you, right? So now so consciousness though, if you are infused with light and you function through the power of love and you are projecting your reality that is aligned with who you are, which you can access through your astrology, through your own spiritual tools, you get in then that stuff can't touch you if that's not your frequency. If you're getting robbed, it's because you have an affinity to that energy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all just energy. That's another thing. We can't judge this stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Don't, it's just what it is.
The
We're living,
duality.
right.
Reality. There's going to be positive and negative. It is what it is. You're
That's
not going
right.
to get You're not in this reality. That's what it's going to be, no matter what.
It is dual, and white supremacy had that reality locked up. They had
Hmm.
them as the
The
angels and
positive,
black
right?
people. So they were holding that polarity. And now as white supremacy collapses, those polarities are showing up in our own realities. So you have to do the work to marry your own masculine and feminine energy so that you can be in sync with your own divine harmony.
And the people who understand this, like the Freemasons, if you look at the Freemason fraud with the black and the white, like, they understand polarity and they understand how to control it. Like, they understand this philosophy that we're talking about, but they
Yeah.
don't teach the masses. Like we were saying, marketing, is really it's Hegelian dialect. Marketing, from a salesperson, I can tell you, this problem, you react, I solve it.
That's
you
it.
know, I present the problem to you, XYZ, and a lot of these speakers on YouTube and all this do
Yeah.
that. They present a problem, the white man, white supremacy, this,
Yeah.
that. the aliens is coming, whatever war's coming,
Yes.
you react, you get tense, your anxiety goes up, and then they say, "Oh, but here I got this special oil that I'll sell you that will,
Yes.
heal your life." Hey, I'm not judging anybody. Do what they have to do to make it, but at the same time, you have to really be discerning. Get these crystals, that sync up with you, that protect you. Some black obsidian, some black
Yes.
tourmaline when you go out in the street.
Yes.
Learn about these things so you can protect yourself when everybody else is going through chaos. You don't have to be affected and you don't have to be harmed or hurt.
That's
And if
right.
you are, at least you can recover faster, or you may just have the perception to see it before it even happens.
That's right. And one of the things that is so, there are herbs and crystals that support us in every single way. One of the things I do is I talk to the trees. I really put my feet on the earth and really I connect, because then I'm tapping into the frequency of the tree, and then that lifts my vibration up. Because if people understand how I see this reality, is every reality is here right now, and you just want to stay in alignment with the highest frequencies possible through your connection to nature.
And Mo, check this out. This is a hack too. Even if if you're in the concrete jungle, Detroit, New York,
Mhm.
Atlanta, you're in the city, you don't have nature around you, right? Let's say you could put on nature sounds. There's sounds where you could listen to birds and hear the water and hear different crickets and all these things that you could put on and simulate nature.
That's right.
The same way if you're watching TV or listen to a song where they could simulate a mood or emotion to stir the soul, to raise the soul, which raises your spirit, which
That's right.
attaches to your spirit and raises your frequency. And now you got this big aura around you strictly because you were tapped into nature. So even though you're not there, the first law in the Kabbalion is mentalism. So
Yeah,
everything is mind. Everything is mind. So even
that's
if you
right.
can't get out directly in nature, because sometimes it's New York. I'm here in New York, so it's winter.
Yes,
It's gonna get cold. I can't always go out and sit in
sure.
nature, but
Right.
I can listen to nature.
And in your imagination, like I was saying
I'm
earlier,
not right.
imagination is, and when this is a mental reality, right? So that you can hold, like I will put myself in a forest in my imagination, talk to the trees, put myself at the beach. That's why what the work that I do is I use these meditations to take us to these places. You can go back in your imagination and heal something that happened between you and your mother 20 years ago. You can go back and heal something that happened, and you can send Reiki to yourself in your mother's womb through your imagination and heal an illness that you were born with in your childhood. Like I'm doing that right now with my son. He was diagnosed with Down syndrome. I send him energy every day. And every day I watch his dialect come. I watch his mature. I'm just watching him become what they said he would never fucking be right before my eyes.
Mhm. Yeah, I got cut on my wrist. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got a big cut on my wrist. Right,
Yeah.
well, you can't really see it, but when I went to the hospital, they was like, "Oh, you're not going to be able to write for a year." Right?
Mm.
You're not gonna be able to write for a year. You might be in this cast forever. There's people who might be watching this who work with me who could tell you I was out of that cast in 3 days, and I was writing by the end of the week. And I was joking with my doctor, making him feel comfortable and happy with me. That's another gem. Don't be going to these hospitals all tight and tense and scared.
Yes,
They're gonna treat you tight and tense and scared, and treat you just like everybody else that comes in.
that's
Form a
right.
bond with your doctor, your primary care provider. Make sure that they like you, so that
Yeah,
they'll treat you better. Right? Charm, magic, charm is
that's
magic.
right. That's right. Glamour them. You got to glamour them.
Glamour, magic. Yep, yep.
And I'm gonna say, glamour magic is real.
It's very real.
I was with a friend the other day who, I'm in Los Angeles and I'm very Hollywood adjacent. And this friend of mine is married to a former celebrity. And we were at the court case, and all these other cases were coming, and the judge was really fair to the women. Now, I don't want to talk about the politics of it, but it's still whatever, right? So the
Mhm.
judge was a woman, and the judge was being really fair and diplomatic. And then they got to her case, and he's like a famous actor. I literally watched I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, he's got glamour. And it was like she lost everything. I was like, oh well, I was like, it shocked me. I was like, wow, it was glamour. So this magic stuff is real, y'all.
Yeah, it's very real. I mean, that's what we talk. Magic is real. Like it's not something that is some hocus pocus, and all you have to do is practice. You have to put in the work, though. You're not going to get it just by watching YouTube. You're not going to get it by
No,
even reading books. You're not going to get it from philosophers or
no.
speakers, or even people that you know that are spiritual or speakers. You're not going to get it from the outside. You have to go in. You
That's
have
right.
to go in. You have to do the work to know thyself.
Yeah. And it's worth it, and it's the funnest thing ever, because all this other stuff is boring in slavery, just so you know. Like, just pursuing money and just trying to get whatever is all ultimately. One of the things that was really interesting about watching my life was when I watched my mother get into her 40s, and I was like, wow, look at what happens to a woman who was like the bad bitch, right? Like,
What Kevin Samuel said, the wall.
he was the bad bitch. And then what
Right.
happens when you get into your 40s and 50s and that bad bitch stuff doesn't get you anything anymore? You have to still have something. You have to, and so you have to, ladies, cultivate your power, cultivate your magic so that you can have that for yourself. So you're not looking to gain anything from anybody else. You're not trying to make anybody else your vehicle. You actually have something to bring to the table, right? Because when a woman has magic, you can feed the whole world.
Yeah, yeah. A woman that has magic and magnetic. There's a different glow about her. There's a different aura, especially since sincere. There's some women people that are just wearing a bunch of shit, you know.
Yes.
But but when they really sincere, there's a glow. Like
Yes.
there's a glow that you can see on them that's real. You know, there's people wearing jewels and stuff, women that are dusty inside.
Yeah.
you know, but you can't just adorn yourself. Like it has to be in you. It can't be on you.
That's right.
But yeah, and like they say, you heal a woman, you heal a nation. And that's definitely
That's
the
right.
truth because they're raising children, they're raising the next generation, and the next generation is what's going to not only take care of you when you get older, but
That's right.
also go out in the world and take care of others and create new things and new innovations, which is what we all need, especially now, especially as melanated beings. Like
Yes.
it's time for us to start creating, especially with the system crumbling. There's going to need new services. We're going to need people who know how to power the electric grid. Like I
Right.
was telling somebody that I was talking to, counseling, I was like, you know, don't think you have to be me. You know what I'm saying? Don't think you have to be this person that reads and does this study and, does all the. Maybe your path is not to be, a spiritual guru or electromagnetic alchemist or something like that, right? And that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
don't think you have to. But maybe your path is to be the best goddamn electrician on the
Yeah.
planet. Maybe your path is to be the best fitness person on the planet. Maybe
Hmm.
your path is to be the best florist and the best farmer on
Yeah.
the planet. And you just need to listen to somebody like me or Monique Ruffin just to give you the little tools to get by. And that's okay. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Don't think you have to get a million books to be the most powerful mystic on the planet. Everybody can't be Doctor Strange, but you
No.
can be Spider Man. You can
No.
be Iron Man. You can
Yeah.
be Thor. You can
Yeah.
be Black Widow. You can be whatever you're supposed to be and whatever power you are and still join the Avengers.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. Because you are fucking magical. You really are. And if you cultivate it, you will see it. I I have a friend of mine who became like a lawyer, and he said that when he was like 9 years old, he tried to move a figurine with his imagination,
Mm.
and it didn't move, and it like killed his spirit. And I swear to God, I think of him every day because I'm like, I want I want to create a world where young people are believing in magic and
Mhm.
not going and giving all their power away to some system that says money is, because your magic is more valuable than anything, and we need people to create new shit. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. And money's made from cotton. It actually reduces your electricity, your electric conductivity, just
And
like cotton wool.
ooh,
So yeah, it's insidious. The rubber shoes that we wear with rubber
mhm,
soles, how it disconnects us from the earth, and
right.
all all these systems are in place, but every system can be hacked.
Yeah.
Systemic racism is no excuse. There's
Yep.
a system that could be hacked. I don't see many melanated people at the city halls. There's somebody that's supposed to do that. There's somebody that's supposed to go in the city hall and work in the political sphere. As
Yes.
much as we want to dismantle the system, my garbage still needs to be taken out. you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Right.
still need my
We
streets
we
clean.
need a magic person there
magic person there. We need a
Right.
magic,
So we
magic
need to
people
put people in place to
there
absolutely.
you go. We need magical. We need people with altars that are
That's
police chiefs.
that's right.
We need people with altars that are in councilmen. We need
Yes.
people with altars that know the law of attraction and are
Yes.
in the schools
Ooh,
and that
come
could
on.
change their referendums and all that. We need
Now
all these
that's the
things.
masculine. That's right. You have spoken. You have
That's
spoken.
that's what I'm about. That's what I talk like. That's
Yeah.
what we really need. All this pontificating. I was looking, Mo, and we're gonna close after this, but
Yeah.
unless you have some, but I was looking at YouTube and I was so disappointed. Over 1,000 plus people talking about a flat earth, 90% melanated men.
Wow.
90% melanated men. For
Mm.
hours, this guy was
Mm.
talking about flat earth. Now, I'm not saying I was never interested, and I'm not trying to bash anybody who's into these alternate things or whatever,
Right.
right? I'm interested. Obviously, I clicked on the video, so I
Yeah.
want to see what they were talking about. However, right, if you don't have, some people don't have their basic necessities. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't have good relationship skills. Some
Mm.
people, because they're raised in the matrix, like I feel like any kid that's born 1 year old is raised in the matrix because social media is so prevalent now. You
Yes.
know, so they're literally raised in the matrix,
Yeah.
not like us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not careful, you're going to get sucked into the distraction that's you think it's not a distraction, you think it's consciousness, but it's taking you away from who you are. Who
Yeah.
cares if the earth is flat or round if you have nothing on it?
That's right.
If you have no factories on it, if you have
Mm-hmm.
no manufacturing on it, if you have no government on it, if you have no military on it,
Right.
who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
who you think is looking back on you and laughing? The
Right.
same people that you call white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't give a fuck if it's flat or round. They know
Mm-hmm.
that they run it.
That's right. Wow, we have a lot. That is, we have a lot of work to do, and we have the power to do it. That's what I want to say. We can do it,
You could do it.
and all we need is enough of us who are committed to living it and teaching it. Because the old world is failing, so everybody got somewhere. They're gonna need some place to go. So we just need people who are committed to living it and teaching it, and that's me and you.
Yeah, and don't focus on just people that look like me and you. Though
Yes,
you
that is,
know, there's people of all colors, races,
that's right.
shades. You know, when they did the whole, the COVID thing, and it affected everybody. You
Right.
know, it didn't
Yeah.
matter. And there's people that didn't want it, of that didn't look like you, just
Yes.
like you did, right?
That's
And
right.
there was a point where people were converging. Even
That's
the
right.
George Floyd thing, with my own personal thing about George
Yeah.
Floyd's situation, it still was massive people of all different cultures that felt the same way.
Yes.
So, we need to really look beyond this avatar shell. Although we have our special properties as a
Yes.
Ferrari, right? That
That's
doesn't mean
right.
having somebody driving a Prius or
Yeah.
somebody driving a pickup,
Know
right?
the difference in a Volkswagen Bug and a Ferrari. Know the difference. That's right.
But
Because
definitely know thyself and know
that's
that you are special,
that's
so that you could be an avenger in those spaces. Because
hmm
that's another thing. People get absorbed in those spaces and then oh, I'm not black anymore. I'm not part of the community because everybody's,
that's right.
there's a
I'm not black
different
and
trauma
white.
responses. Yeah. Yeah, I'm OJ. Right. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mo, what
Yeah.
you got to say, as we close this out? It's been wonderful having you. Wonderful
Oh,
conversation.
thank you guys. Yay! So I love this, and you guys can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook. And thank you for having me. I really love these conversations with you because it's it's just such a pleasure to have these conversations with black men, with a black man who gets it in a way that is practical and magical.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially as a black man where society is trying to put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Society, not your own peers will put you in a box for
Yeah.
being intelligent, for not wanting to quote unquote sleep at everything that's moving,
Right.
for having a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as men, we really have to understand our individuality, and that will also enhance our ability to lead. Like you parroting Tariq Nasheed, no disrespect to him, but parroting Tariq Nasheed, or which I see a lot on the internet, like just parroting somebody else that you see on the internet, that's not you, bro.
Yeah.
Like what are your ideas? Not to say you can't hang or listen to something I say or Mo says or anybody says and
Mm-hmm.
incorporate. I do it myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I take it in
Yes,
and see, does it work for me, and how can I make it mine?
that's right.
How can you make it yours?
Yes.
That's a man. What are you? Who are you? What makes you glow? What makes you shine?
Right.
Repeating somebody else's talking points, you're just a parrot. You
Mm-hmm.
and 9 times 10, it just sounds good, but you haven't even done the knowledge to understand what it means for you. You're just repeating it. And then when someone like me comes and questions you, you look at me like I'm crazy, but
Right.
I just really want to know, do you know what you're talking about, right? Do you
Because
really understand what you're saying?
people don't understand the thing that's fascinating about the spiritual journey and the spiritual work is that it's something we talk about, but people don't understand the practicality and the devotion that it takes to make it real, right?
Or
It's
set faculty. Yeah.
right. It's a real thing. They don't understand the fasting, the waking up, the like the ancestral work, the altar work, the like it's I've been doing this stuff for years. Like it's no joke. It's like I don't fit in. I cannot go, I can't do the regular shit. Like that's why I don't have a husband because I couldn't assimilate to those ways of being. I can't bow down to things that are not right. So I've had to really sacrifice, and the spiritual journey is filled with sacrifice.
It's filled with sacrifice. It's filled with sacrifice. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you don't fit in, you have to basically, the only way you could do it is be yourself and find people of like mind. That's the
That's
beauty of
right.
the internet, you
Yeah,
know, that I didn't have in the early 90s. Like, that's the beauty of the internet, where you are able to, get with people of like mind who think like you. But it still takes years. Like, you're not going to become psychic. You're not going to have these clairvoyant abilities if you just started this a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't care how many mushrooms you take. I don't care how much harataki you take. I don't care how much tea you drink.
it doesn't.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
going to happen. It
Because the
took
spirit
years to
real.
unlock my shit.
It's
Years for me to have a Kundalini awakening.
yes,
Years.
the spirit is real. Like people don't understand that spirit is a real thing. You can't see it and you can't fake it. You cannot fake it. So I just and here's the thing. It's not going anywhere. So you may as well start the journey when you feel called to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't do it, your life just becomes really um difficult, and your soul just gets on the wheel of karma. So you may as well start it when it shows up for you.
I feel like you want to give us a reading, Moon Mama.
Oh,
Playing with the cards.
do I
Yeah.
want to get? Oh, I was playing with the cards. Okay, great.
Do the collective reading for what we should look for this,
Okay,
and
great.
then we'll close out with that. I think that's perfect.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna. Um, I gotta get my real deck. I gotta pull out my.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar.
Let's really do it.
Sarah set.
Yes, let's do it. Okay.
Yeah. Great Oracle of Sahuti.
Yes, this is it. So, spirit, what's the energy moving forward? What can we offer to the listeners as what is the best energy going forward for this full moon? All right, one more. Okay. Hmm. Wow. Okay. I got Mars, Hekharuti, and Aset, both completely closed.
Mm, Jesus. I know what that means. Tell them what that means, though.
Well, it means we have a lot of work to do, you know?
A lot of work to do. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of work to do. And It means that our warrior energy is not functioning and we are out of alignment with our inner reality. And there is work to do. It's just a lot of fucking work to do. Lord have mercy.
Out of balance, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost wish you didn't read those. Once I saw that, my eye all closed up, and I heard Kahuti, I was like, "Oh Lord."
Wow.
Yeah, but Hera Kahuti is also a war card. You
I
know,
know. That's right. It
so
is. It is a war card,
a war
right?
card. Yeah.
So one of the things that I like to do when things are like that are close, it's really internal, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
really about going inside and dealing with your own anger and like being in your truth. It's because it's also us said, it's like really taking on being responsible for what's going on inside of you. And um
Are you devoted to the war within? Are you
that's
devoted
right.
to healing and taking care of what you need to take care of and cutting off what you need to cut off for the
That's
people,
right.
places, and things in order to gain what you need to gain spiritually? It's not about doing magic just to gain things. That's a benefit, but
Yes.
that's going to come with the territory. You don't have to worry about that. The money, the women, for my men, the money, the women, the trips, the
Yeah.
access to things. That's going to come when you're doing the work. That's the gifts that you get for doing the work. That's the jewels, as like you said, Mel said last week. That's the jewels from Jupiter that you get for doing the work.
Right.
But you have to put in the work.
You do. And there's a lot of work to be done. Like with this reading, it's like,
Yeah.
what? This is a lot of work.
That's for the collective. So that
Yeah.
that piece is like, yeah, people aren't devoted to their spiritual work. People aren't devoted to themselves. People are not devoted to their flow states. People are not devoted to
Yep.
their breath work, right? And
Right.
the Herakuti part is people are not battling. They're not
Right.
fighting. And not fighting out people outside, but they're not fighting
Fighting against their own
against their
shortcomings.
own inner demons, against their
That's
own
right.
animalistic instincts, their own lower nature, their root chakra, sacral chakra, those lower parts, they're letting dominate them basically
Yeah.
and not putting in the work to
Ooh.
devote, because all said is all about devotion.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Isis is all about devotion. And you could also see that Kundalini piece in there, right? Two steps
Mm-hmm.
behind me, all
Yep.
said, or Isis,
Yep.
ISIS, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
that snake energy, right? To raise the vibration. So people aren't raising their vibration. So again, there's going to be a lot of angry people this
Yeah.
coming week. People that are angry, people that are separating, people that are breaking up or their relationships. So definitely stay on point. Those of you who go out to work, those of you who travel, get your jewels, your
Yeah.
obsidian, your protective ambulance, right? Your
Yep.
crystals,
That's right.
and
Do your
go out there
spiritual
without
bath. Do your
take it.
spiritual
Yeah.
bath.
And yeah, the moon, you should always try to, well, not always, but
Mhm.
I feel like if you need to do the work and you know you need to do the work, when there's a full moon, it's
Mhm.
definitely the time. Full moon is all about action
Yeah.
because you have less the more you have more melatonin when there's a new moon and less melatonin
Yeah.
secretion when there is a full moon.
Yeah.
And the reason being you sleep less when there's a full moon, right? This is
Mhm.
scientifically speaking.
Yes.
So when there's a full moon, you're really supposed to be doing some type of ritual work,
Yeah.
external work, not just sitting back, not just listening to me and Moan or whoever teacher is out there,
Mhm.
but actually doing a ritual that involves the four elements: fire, air, earth, water,
Right.
right?
And I
Sometimes
teach
water,
this stuff. I teach people how to do rituals. So if you don't know how to do it, find somebody to learn.
mm-hmm,
Somebody who is in a consistent practice because you can't fake this stuff, you
no,
know?
and you got to do your ritual work. You got to
Yeah.
do like right now. I got my. I'm about to go in Monday with my leg bar work, the back work with the Abre Capino. I got the
Yes.
Lily of the Valley, right?
Yes.
So when you understand, and I've
That's
showed
it.
y'all the book, y'all could get this from you get all these correspondences from.
This is my little my spec. Yes, I carry my Sebek with me.
Okay, yeah. So you you got your back with you, yeah.
Yeah, I carry it with me. And I get, because I literally like I need to stay mindful of this energy. The Sebek energy is hard to me because it's so
Yeah,
earthy, right? It's so
yeah.
the car salesman.
Well, it's a leg by energy, so it's that cleverness. It's like the preacher telling you good things in the Bible and then hitting you with the pass the plate. It's the cleverness, the truth. The slickness where they give you a little bit of truth and then give you a little bit of lie in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you're not going to be attracted. So that's really that's what the society is built on. That's what marketing is built on. That's as a professional salesperson, licensed
Yes.
salesperson. I can tell you that straight up. It's
That's right.
built. This society, capitalist society, is built on you having a problem and them providing a solution.
That's right. And so if you want to be able to function in this reality, you have to sharpen your own Sebek skills. And one of the ways I just do the rituals, right? And I just and lately as I've been doing, it's hard for me because I don't really want to talk shit. But I'm like, it's okay, just do it. You know what I mean? Because it's a part of it. So
But
yeah.
that's like your calling. Like you're
Yeah.
great at like speaking and talking to people and
Yeah.
delivering great messages on a day. Yeah, like on Instagram, I follow you all the time, so you know
Yeah.
that.
Thank
So yeah. So Sebek is definitely working for you. I can tell you that.
you. That's right.
I'm going to invest in one myself.
I'm gonna send you the link so you can get
Yeah.
yours.
This is a Sebek time as well. This is also
I know.
a Legba Sebek time. Also tomorrow is 10/10/2022. So if you add that up, 222, that's 6, right? And the other 2 in the tens, so 1 1, that's 8. So that's the infinity number right there. So it's like one of the best. So next week, if you are in tune, it's one of the best times to project whatever you're going through. I don't care if you're homeless, sitting in your car right now. Visualize and feel what you want to manifest. I don't care if you don't have no candle, you don't have no bats, none of
That's
that.
right.
The Jupiter is here.
That's
So all
right.
the other stuff with the bats and the plants that I'm doing is just adding on extra to it. But
That is
all
right.
you need is your mind, the law of mentalism, to make things manifest. And
Hallelujah.
it will.
And it will. I'm telling you, it is. I was going through a divorce. I had a child with Down syndrome. I used to spend 2 minutes every day just holding a picture in my heart of what I wanted. I had no idea how it was gonna come. We cussing and fussing, he leaving, the baby can't hear the doctors. We don't know if he gonna be able to. I was like, I get what they saying.
Right.
Like I'm clear about I'm projecting some bullshit out here. Okay. Let's go into the real place and hold in my heart another possibility. And slowly but surely, it started to emerge.
It's possible. Yeah.
You cannot look at if your eyes deceive you.
Mm-hmm.
Never believe what you see, people. Never. It's never telling you the full story. Ever. Ever.
And to me, the best way to change your soul and your feelings is how they engineer us is through music.
Yes.
Use music to your advantage.
Yes.
Use music. There's all type of shit. Beethoven was black. This is confirmed. Pull this up. Get some classical. Don't be scared of no classical music. Get you some classical music. Turn off the voice of people talking to you.
Yes.
Listen to some string music.
Yes.
Some Alice Coltrane, some John Coltrane, some Sun Ra. Things
And
that people that are making music designed to raise your frequency.
yes, that new brother. He's Christian. He's a jazz player, young brother. He's so bad from New Orleans. Christian something. I can't even think of his name. But these young jazz artists are no joke right now.
There's some nice new jazz artists there. That's
They're
real
like
music.
Yes. So there's a lot out there. All right, we've said everything.
We said everything. With that said, thank you guys for joining. I know I didn't put up a lot of y'all comments. Let me see what y'all got. If y'all got anything in here, not really. But let me salute some people. Salute to Philip. Salute to Hollow. Salute to Nisi Royalty. Salute to Davion. Salute to Try Assay. Salute to Hollow Vegeta. I think I said that. I think I got everybody here. All right, y'all. With that being said, yeah, take a drive. Turn the music off when you take a drive and just think, process, visualize, feel, and move. Get your body moving. Stop sitting in the bed being a couch potato. Start that new workout regimen. Start that new jogging regimen. You should be doing something physical.
And if you can't really move, tap your body.
Yeah.
Tap your body, right? Tap your body because you want to just get the energy moving. Get the and clap your hands and do your fingernails and all that sort of stuff. Tap the top of your head. Because and then that'll get you moving. Then do that every day to get your energy moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, and special treat for y'all. I'm coming back at midnight. So I'll see y'all if y'all are up. I'll see y'all at midnight tonight. We're gonna go and talk about some things. Y'all see soon. And we'll come back. Well, let me not say. Most likely. I'm gonna come back at midnight. Who knows? By 11 I might have been drained from this conversation. But if I don't come to y'all today, I'm definitely coming to y'all tomorrow. So look out for me either tonight or tomorrow with another video. Mo, it's been a pleasure. Anything you want to tell? Anything else you want to tell the people? I said, yeah. All right. We out, y'all. Peace, power, and prosperity. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. We appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. You could be anyplace else, but you chose to rock with me and the Moon Mama. And we out. Peace.